this last news story comes to us by Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. They write, Todd Howard says only 10% of Starfield planets have life on them. And I love the subtitle here. About the same as our solar system, to be fair. Bethesda's Todd Howard has revealed only 10% of Starfield's 1,000 planets have life on them. Speaking to Kind of Funny Games, Howard explained how Bethesda populated Starfield's universe, saying different planets serve different purposes. For us, we view it as, which by the way, that interview was actually pretty interesting. Go check it out over on Kind of Funny. They did a whole, Xcast, that's what the podcast is called. It was pretty good. But for us, we view it as giving you choices when you look at a system. Here's the many things you could do, he said. This could include visiting barren planets that are only there to collect resources, or planets with major cities and settlements for players to explore and progress the story in. Obviously, it's procedural, so there's no way we're going to go and handcraft an entire planet, Howard continued. What we do is we handcraft individual locations, and some of those are placed specifically, like the main cities and other quest locations. And then we have a suite of them that are generated or placed when you land, depending on that planet. There are merits to even the emptier planets, though, Howard said, as it all balances the busy ones out to create a believable universe. I think it is a moment when you land on some of these barren planets, and again, we will generate certain things for you to find on them, Howard continued. But if you look at a planet, you see the resources, it has things you want. The more than 1,000 planets available in Starfield will therefore give players plenty to explore, and even if a lot of them are on the thinner side story-wise, Starfield still features more handcrafted content than any other Bethesda game.
True.
Yeah.
So
not sure how I feel about this.
Here's where I'm at with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why advertise it as being like 1,000 planets if only 100 of them have points of interest, like real points of interest? I don't necessarily count a place where you can get resources as a point of interest, right?
No.
The only thing about it is they could have said it was 100 planets and everybody still would have been like the same reaction that they had to 1,000, they would have had to 100.
Yeah.
100 planets you could go to and it's something to do on each one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because who's even going to go to the 100, let alone the whole entire 1,000? I mean, of course somebody will. There has to be that one guy that's like, I went to every planet in Starfield. I'm going to stream. Somebody has to
I'm going to do I'm going to stream
a 10-year stream so I can get to every planet in Starfield.
I won't stop streaming until I hit all 1,000 planets in Starfield or whatever. Yeah.
Right, and then they pass out and die.
I'm right there with you. Like I would have rather had a populated 100 planets than a like sparse 1,000 planets, honestly. Because even 100 planets, I'm not going to see all 100 of those. I guarantee you.
No freaking way.
So
I don't even think I'll see 50.
So it's like, I'd rather have like life on most of them, or at least a point of interest, even if they're not life, like to at least have oh, wow, there's some ruins here from an old ancient society or something like that. Like, I don't know. It just seems weird for them to be like, we got 1,000, but 90% of them are just resource dumps for you to just set up your mining colony, and you'll never go back to it again. Because that's something they talked about when they showed off gameplay, is like, oh, you can build your little fort there and mine resource and blah blah blah. And it's like, all right, cool, but like, why?
I honestly, I really wish that they would have gone with my way of thinking about it, where you just do 10 to 12 highly detailed planets, and then you can do subplanets like the ones they're talking about here,
right,
where there's just life on them, or there's like maybe a point of interest to do,
like a moon.
Then you can stretch it to right to make it look bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Then you got a cool maybe 20, 25 and call it a day.
Yeah.
I guess they were basing it off of the what do they call it? The Goldilocks zone, where there's only areas in the universe where life could exist. We're playing a video game where you're taking us to planets with aliens on them already. Why is this the hill you want to die on in terms of reality?
Yeah, they're going
That's
hard.
what I don't get.
They're going hard with the whole realism thing because, like, even like
you can do space drugs. Like,
they,
why are we picking and choosing where we want reality to be the basis?
Yeah,
I know you have to have some form of it, but this is a weird hill to die on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when they were talking about like the lighting and stuff, like it sounds cool. Like, all right, cool. But I can't imagine the amount of time that took just to calculate out like, okay, well, this planet has this much atmosphere and blah, blah, blah. So the light is going to, like, the sun's going to refract this certain way because of the gas. And it's like, why? It's a video game.
And then when you get down there, it's a 2-headed elephant with pinks with purple skin and polka dots.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, come on, man. Oh, the atmosphere here is going to slow your descent and it's going to make you fly to the left a little bit. Like, Todd, what are we doing, bro?
We're not making Space Simulator.
Right.
It's a Bethesda game. I want Fallout 4 in space.
And then 10 minutes before that, some lady was talking about hoarding sandwiches that she steals off the ship.
Sandwich
like,
pirate.
what are we doing? Either are we having fun or are we doing a simulator?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if I play it, I'm going to be having fun. That's for sure.
I'm having fun.
But
okay,
it's not because of all the goofy simulation things they decided to bake in. That's for sure. Like, it's going to be I'm going to be enjoying the simpler things.
If you adjust the density of your rocket fuel, then you can get I'm not here for that. I'll go play Flight Simulator if I want to do that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could have really scaled this down and just said it was 100 planets and do a bunch of stuff with 100 planets. I don't know what maybe it was a marketing decision, or maybe they just wanted to see if they could do it.
Right.
To make the 1,000 planets, but I really think they could have got away. I think they could have got the same effect out of just saying there was 100.
That's the problem with like doing the whole like promising so much is like there's just the chance keeps going up and up that this could be a No Man's Sky situation. Like, we're getting closer and closer to release here. Like,
don't do that. Don't put that on them.
I'm just saying. Like, I mean, at least. I mean, this is the first that they've admitted that things are gonna, like, I mean, it's obvious, it's common sense. So like anyone with a brain would have assumed that, oh, planets are going to be procedurally generated. Like,
of course.
But this is the first time.
You know how many years it would take to make 1,000 planets? We'd be on the next hardware.
Yeah.
Before they get done.
But this is technically the first time they said that. And I'm surprised at how many people too have been like shocked by that. Like, what, freaking out. But imagine if the game came out and he didn't say this, like, even though it's just like 2 months before, if he didn't say those words, like,
where's all the stuff?
People would have been like losing their mind. So like, and this is what I was talking about at Summer Game Fest. And a lot of people are downvoting our video because they don't like our feelings on it. But we're just being realistic. Is at that direct, I felt like, yeah, they still were like, they were really just over promising and like really like just way too highly praising this game. And I love how at the Kind of Funny interview, like, yeah, he kind of like just talked more realistic about a lot of things and like this thing. And it's like, okay, exactly. Like, this is what I was saying. Like, if he didn't, really, he's lucky.
You have to sell your game.
Really, he's lucky that they did the Kind of Funny interview, because again, if the game came out and like some of the things that was mentioned in the Kind of Funny interview, like, and expectations weren't set properly, like, people would have been so livid, I think, when this game came out. So the fact that the interview happened this last week is really a godsend for him, because I think it could have gone really bad.
Yeah, if that didn't happen, then Sweats would have been right about him calling it straight up trash.
Yeah. But now, like, already reading this, it's like, oh, it's a bummer, but it's like, okay, whatever. My expectations are now set properly, which is what we've been wanting the whole time. Just tell me how it really is.
Tell me what the game really is.
Tell me what it really is. And that's our biggest gripe, is like, not that they're not doing these things. It's that they keep like trying to hide the lead there. Like, they're trying to bury the lead a little bit. And it's like, no, just tell it to us straight. Like, we're not idiots. Like, just tell us what it is.
If you have Starfield installed on your hard drive, and you unplug your Xbox and put your foot on it, it will take away your gout.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the way that they were marketing this game at that showcase.
Yeah. I mean, for years now. But Crazy. One interesting thing. I know last week we said we weren't going to talk about it anymore, so I'm technically not talking about it. But I thought it was interesting. The news article that came out that initially Starfield was going to be a PlayStation exclusive until
I saw that
until Xbox bought Bethesda, and then at first Bethesda thought like, oh, okay, we'll just make it for both platforms, and then basically Xbox is like, no, this is ours.
No,
and
you're
just,
not.
like, took it. I'm like, oh shoot, that's
Yoink.
wild. Like, yeah, it was originally going to be a PlayStation exclusive, and then Xbox is like, nope, yoink, it's all ours. Crazy. Anyways,
I saw they almost bought Sega too.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I don't know what Xbox doing over there.
If that's the only place I can get my Persona, I guess you got a Game Pass customer out of me then.
Right.
Sorry,
man. All right. Any more thoughts on Starfield here?
I mean, just like we've been saying, I know at the end of the day, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. That's usually the standard for 90% of Bethesda games. Are they buggy? Yeah. Do they have a lot of frivolous stuff that doesn't work a lot of times? Yeah. Do they overpromise like they did with Fallout 76 and then underdeliver at times? They do. But given how many eyes and hands and QA this has gone through, there's no way at the end of the day this isn't at least good. I just wish that they would have been more realistic with their marketing.
Yeah.
Because they've been throwing everybody in a frenzy. And I really, really wish that there was some way that they could have figured out a performance mode.
Right.
I don't.
Less sandwiches, more frames.
It was a stylistic choice they claim, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when the PC version comes out. And if the PC version is not running at 30 frames a second, they were lying.
Well, no, I think they've already said that the PC, it's just the Xbox version that's locked.
See, then it's not a stylistic choice. It's a hardware limitation.
From like, well, I guess now that I think of it, I don't know if they straight up said it in an interview. I guess that's the assumption, because they did the same thing with Redfall. It was locked on consoles, but it was 60 FPS on PCs.
Right, but we knew that because they never said it was, they never came out with a reason for it. We just figured it's because they weren't able to figure out how to optimize the hardware, right? But Bethesda came out and said that this was a artistic choice for them to do that. And I guess you could argue, well, it is artistic if they wanted to be 30 and have a filmic look, to it, but it's also a shooter. What shooter do you know these days that comes out at 30 frames a second, as the shooting game standard? So I'd say any game with shooting gameplay.
Yeah. So it's a reach, but technically the official statement from Todd Howard said that the game will be locked at 30 FPS on the Xbox Series consoles. So by doing some not very hard mental gymnastics there, you can assume that the PC version, because he didn't say Starfield will be, he said the Xbox Series versions will be locked at 30.
Right.
And so,
and you know what?
Yeah.
That's fine if they wouldn't have called it an artistic choice. Just say, hey, we tried every way we knew how, but with the vision that we wanted, we just couldn't figure out how to make 60 runs, so we decided to just keep it at 30.
Right.
Okay. It sucks, yeah, but don't sit here and say, well, for our vision of Starfield, we didn't want to compromise on the graphics, so we made it 30 frames a second. Okay, you didn't want to compromise in that mode. Give me a mode where you do compromise, and then I can get it to 60.
Yeah, exactly. Less sandwiches.
Just say you couldn't get it running at 60. It happens.
Crazy. Yeah, the whole thing with this game is like, I'm sure it's going to be a good game. It's going to be fun to play, but I just don't like how they're selling it. That's what it comes down to. And it's just been rubbing me the wrong way since the beginning. And yeah, people don't like it when we say that, but it's the truth. Like, they've just been doing some sketchy stuff with the marketing. So we will have to wait and see. Just a couple more months coming out soon. It's crazy.
Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.